Bienvenidos a esta reunión de la mesa directiva del Distrito Escolar de San Mateo-Foster City. Tenemos un intérprete para los participantes que necesitan traducción al español. Para escuchar la junta en español, presione el icono del mundo en su pantalla. Muchas gracias.
Great. Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, June 15th, and I am calling to order our regularly scheduled school board meeting at 5:32. The first item on the agenda is the flag salute. Everyone will please rise to the table and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll do roll call as next. Trustee Brooks.
Here.
Trustee Proctor.
Here.
And I believe, Joe, if you'd let me know if Trustee Trin is on. If not, we will move on.
Oh, yes. Give me one moment. Yes, I do see her here. I will move her over to the panelist side. Give me one.
Hello, I'm here.
Thank you, Trustee Trin. Okay, let the record show we have 4 board members present. Next item is the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I was going to make a motion to approve the agenda except to continue items 5A, 5B, 6B, and 6D till next Thursday's regular meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion for that. Actually, we need to do a roll call vote. Since Trustee Trin is not here in person. Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Proctor?
Yes.
Trustee Trin?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. So the agenda has been amended. We will continue those items to the next week. Next on the agenda is item 2D, approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Brooks for the motion and Trustee Trin for the second. Roll call vote, Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Proctor?
Yes.
Trustee Trin?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That's 4-0 for the approval of the May 25th minutes. Here we are for public statements. Public statements related to non-agenda topics. The San Mateo-Foster City School Board cannot act upon any matter that has not been included and publicly posted on the agenda except under limited circumstances as permitted by law. The board may refer matters raised in this forum to staff for investigation and or action where appropriate. We are going to have non-agenda items. We will take public audience members first, live public audience members, and then we will take Zoom audience members. So if anyone wants to speak on non-agenda topics, if you please fill out a form or you can do it before or after you speak. First up is Pierce.
Hi folks, my name is Pierce and it didn't seem appropriate last board meeting, but I wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you now. I appreciate that I've taken some airtime and some attention from district staff and from the school board with some of the issues I've been calling to your attention. And, you know, it's a little easy in the trenches to kind of get really focused on your experience and what you perceive the needs of students to be. Not everyone's present, but like, wow, I've been attending pretty much every school board for years now and virtually or in person. I don't thank you enough. No one thanks you enough. The weathering of the storms that you've all, many of you did during the pandemic is amazing. I cannot imagine the personal fortitude required. The personal fortitude our leaders have demonstrated in really pushing through new and necessary initiatives is inspiring. And then I never appreciated the technical skill and attention to detail that was required in so much. I can't go into detail, of course, but I was really impressed by the attention to detail, as I said, a little redundant, and the questions. And if you bring even a fraction of the effort I saw in closed session last meeting, my students, their parents, myself, we owe all of you a debt that I don't think we appreciate. So thank you. I hope to thank some of you in even greater detail and some emails to follow when I finally have a chance to prioritize them. And I just wanted to say that clearly before bringing up some further issues in the future for, moving forward. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Any other member of the public audience, live audience, wants to make a comment? Joe, can we move on to the Zoom audience to see if anyone on Zoom would like to make a comment, public comment on non-agenda topics?
Yes. Thank you, Vice President Chen. Good evening. I'll be calling on speakers during public comment in random order. To our attendees, if you would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature on the Zoom meeting platform now. Attendees that have called in can dial *9 to raise their hand, and speakers will have 3 minutes to give their remarks. Once time has expired, we will move to the next speaker. At the moment, I do not see any raised hands.
Okay, thank you. I will close item 3A for public statements related to non-agenda topics. Item 3B, public statements related to agenda items, persons will be called on at the appropriate time. Item 3C, foundation and committee reports. Great, why don't we start with PTA Council?
Yes. Thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Marissa McMurray, president of the San Mateo-Foster City PTA Council, which is the 21 units combined and what connects everybody to one central unit. Thank you again. So picking up where the last person left off, thank you. I know for many parents, we're trying to feel very much like summer. Clearly, that's not the mood that you all get to follow, because I know there's a lot of work happening, and I'm seeing lots of conversations about meetings about a variety of topics. And a special thank you, though he's not here, to Diego Perez, who was very kind and prompt in allowing us to understand more about Parent Square and how we might try to streamline some communications in future years. It may take some work to figure out the functions that the PTA can use and maybe save some funds. And while not all the functions we need are there just yet, it's certainly appreciated that we're having that conversation. And I think parents will experience a much gentler communication process going forward. So we had our last meeting last Monday. We're working on board transitions. Many of our members have been trained for the coming year, and there's another training in the fall from the 17th district, which is countywide. And then just another update too, we've got roughly 12 out of our 21 units reporting almost 48,000 volunteer hours from this school year coming to a close, which I love to be the one who gets to brag about, because if we look at not just the dollar value there, but what that means to our kids, to have that many extra eyes and hands on, I think is immeasurable. So thank you again for working with us. We look forward, a couple of us, to seeing you tomorrow at the partnership luncheon, where we appreciate again the chance to say thank you and celebrate our successes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any Ed Foundation? And any committee reports from the board? No? No reports? Okay. We'll move on to item 3D, SMETA, CSEA, and SMFCAA update. Who would like to go first? Anyone?
I go first.
Okay. Live audience first.
Yeah.
Good evening, Superintendent Ochoa and Board of Trustees. Thank you for giving the opportunity to share what a wonderful year we had at Bayside this year. Our year is full of highlights, and I'm happy to share a few with you. This was the first year our middle school offered the CTE Career and Technical Education elective, and our students loved it and thrived in it. Yonder pouches were a game changer on our campus as well. So thank you. They were the chance to see students interacting without the distraction of their cell phones, help students build connections and gain confidence. And teachers loved it also in the classroom, no phones. We are also thrilled with the opening of our new field. It is gorgeous. Our students play and socialize every day. And there was so much school spirit in our soccer games this spring. So thank you. It's beautiful. It encourages our students to be active and collaborative. Third and eighth graders performed in our very first dramatic production of Mary Poppins in partnership with Pied Pipers, of course. Our middle school concert band and orchestra performed and won awards at A Great America's Music in the Park, continuing our long-standing relationship with the San Francisco Gay Man's Chorus. Our entire middle school student body attended a performance of Rhythm, a program which emphasizes equity, self-acceptance, perseverance, and joy. Finally, our 5th and 8th grade promotion ceremonies went beautifully, and it was wonderful to be together to celebrate the hard work of students that were so impacted by the pandemic. What a wonderful way to end the year and a kickoff to summertime. Our Bayside community is built on teamwork, mutual respect, hard work, and I am extremely proud of our teachers and staff, students, and families for how this school year went. Thank you for your time.
We have SMETA or CSEA. Joe, are they on the line at all? Or?
I see Catherine Pratt. Give me one moment. Okay. Ms. Pratt, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, sorry, trying to get on. Well, I just wanted to say congratulations to all of our students and our staffs, of course, for completing the 2022-2023 school year, especially our 5th graders who were promoted up to middle school and our 8th graders who are going to be moving on to high school. During those promotions, SMETA was really happy to be able to continue to give our social justice awards again this year during that promotion season. And these awards, for those of you that don't know, they go out to 2 8th graders at each of our middle schools that demonstrate their ability to make sure everyone's treated with respect. They're up standards. They show qualities of being caring, kind, and inclusive leaders. And so each of our 8th graders receive a certificate and a $100 check. And then we also have a similar award for our 5th graders where we honor a student from every 5th grade classroom or 3-5 SDC classroom in our district. And those awards are given to students that show the same type of qualities. And to that, the 5th graders we give them a certificate and a book. So really, we want to say congratulations to those students in particular who show up every day at school and just make other students feel cared for and included. During this week, there's about 250, 275 or so teachers that have been involved in professional development. That ends tomorrow. And we are definitely looking forward to having a much needed, relaxing summer. So congratulations to everyone for finishing this school year. That's all.
You and Joe, should we check one more time for CSEA?
Yes. I don't see them raising their hand at the moment. I don't see them listed in the participants either.
No problem. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to item 3E, announcements. Do any board members have any announcements they'd like to make? No? No? Trustee Trent? I know it might be hard.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I had a pre-planned travel, so that's why I am remote today.
Problem. You're still here.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay. Next item, 3F, superintendent report.
A couple of short thank yous and recognitions. The first is to our team here at the district office that pulled together last week. As you know, we had to reschedule this meeting. And we had one of our colleagues just not feel well, and it was a really scary thing, but a really, you know, as a team here at the district office, there were a lot of people who did things that needed to be done and didn't have to be asked. And I'm just very grateful for all the people that work here and helped out when we needed them. And we're here back again this week, and our colleague is doing much better, and we're really, really happy about that. So that's first and foremost. We have a whole lot of kids going to school this week too. We started bringing kids onto our campuses, doing summer programming. We have literally hundreds of teachers and staff attending professional development this week. And so I'm just really excited for them and happy to be able to offer them this training. And it's the culmination of a lot of planning and a lot of work that goes into it. So many thank yous to all the staff that put this all together. And then if you want to see people swing a hammer, or you want to see a tractor in motion, drive to any school in the San Mateo-Foster City School District, except two. And there is major construction. I'm not talking about one or two people out there, you know, moving stuff around. I'm talking about, you know, major equipment. I think this community is going to be really excited to see the culmination of the work at George Hall. That's coming to fruition, but Sunnybury is not that far behind. They have a beautiful multi-purpose room. Both schools have completely remodeled playground areas and all the infrastructure around it. But we're also kicking off construction at Lee, Highlands, Meadow Heights. We're just doing so many projects throughout the district. Oh, and by the way, we're building, you know, some pretty beautiful facilities over at Bowditch, which is about, it really needs it. So it's just exciting. It's an exciting time. And I just want to thank our staff who puts in all the planning and all the time, because these facilities are truly a huge benefit to these kids and to this community. So that's my report this evening.
Great, thank you. Sorry, to make a comment that there's definitely a lot more that's happening this summer than people might be aware of. So moving on to item 4, which is the proposed consent agenda. Sorry. Okay. All items on the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion in the form listed below. There will be no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items be removed and discussed from the consent agenda. The superintendent and staff recommend approval of all consent items. Movement of any recommended consent item is appropriate at this time. Does any member of the board wish to pull an item for discussion? Trustee Trent? I think we lost you.
Sorry, no, I don't need to
Okay.
pull any of the agenda items.
Sorry, you disappeared from our screen, so I wasn't sure whether or not. Joe, would you mind putting your back on so I can just see?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, any member of the live audience who would like to pull anything from the consent agenda? No. Okay, Joe, would you mind asking the Zoom audience if any member of the public would like to pull anything from the consent agenda, please?
Certainly. Good evening. If any attendees would like to pull any item from the consent agenda, please raise your hand. Vice President Chin, no raised hands.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I would love to entertain a motion. If anyone would like to make a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Second,
Thank you, Trustee Brooks, for the motion, Trustee Proctor for the second. Roll call vote, Trustee Brooks,
Yes.
Trustee Proctor,
yes.
Trustee Trend,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes as well. Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. Moving on, we are moving on to, we continued items 5A and 5B to next week. 6A, public hearing.
Joe, if you can promote Patrick Gaffney, I think he's online.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. So as part of our budget adoption process, this is your public hearing. You're given the opportunity for the public to make comments to you by opening the public hearing. We post the information. It's been available to the public for all the guidelines. So this is you're opening a public hearing to see if anyone from the public wants to make comments to you about the budget.
Thank you, Patrick. We're officially opening the public hearing on the 2023-24 budget adoption. Does any board member have any clarifying questions? No? Okay. We'll open up the public comment period for this item. Does any live member have any public comment or question?
I'm sorry, I didn't fill out the form. When I clicked the link on the website today, it didn't come up. It went to the district, it went to error 404. And it may be that it was up before, but just a heads up, if anyone's watching online now, they may not be able to access it.
The items were.
Okay, thank you. Any member from the Zoom audience has any comment, public comment on the public hearing?
Yes, let me call speakers. Good evening. Calling on speakers during public comment in random order. To our attendees, if you would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature on the Zoom meeting platform now. Attendees that have called in can dial *9 to raise their hand. Speakers will have 3 minutes to give their remarks. Once time has expired, we will move to the next speaker. Vice President Chin, no public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. We're going to close the public comment period for item 6A of the public hearing. And actually, do we have any board discussion? This is not up for vote. We're just, right? Is it? We're not voting on it. It's just any discussion, board discussion, anything? No?
Just thank you to everyone who worked on the budget. I know it's a big undertaking.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on. We will definitely have 6B, the budget adoption, next week. The next public hearing is 6C, public hearing on the 23-24 fund balance in excess of the minimum reserve level.
Yes, again, part of the process again is you hold a public hearing to enable the public to make comments regarding the document was shared with the public regarding the fund balance in excess of the minimum reserve level.
Great, thank you. It's just like the last process. We're going to open up the public hearing for this. Any clarifying questions from the board? No. No. Okay. Any public comment, live or Zoom? Live? No. Zoom. Joe,
Okay.
one line.
Yes, calling on speakers during public comment for the hearing in random order. To our attendees, if you would like to speak, please use the raised hand feature on the Zoom meeting platform now. Attendees that have called in can dial *9 to raise their hand. Speakers will have 3 minutes to give their remarks. Once time has expired, we will move to the next speaker. At this time, Vice President Chin, there are no public comment.
Thank you, Joe.
Vice
We're-
President Chin, I
yes.
think one of our public.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little confused.
Sorry. Go ahead. Yes, please. This is a public hearing on the fund balance in excess of the minimum reserve level. Pierce, you can give it to me afterwards. So.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry. I'm a little confused. This was what I thought was going to be covered in 4A and 4B, but I can still maybe address it here. I'm referring specifically to the $700,000 for the reserve technology upgrade and refresh. Is it appropriate to speak to that specific line of it there?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. So as we've made so many switches, one thing that I'm hoping we can put some effort or add some additional effort to, I should probably say, is developing more procedures to ensure that our technology is lasting and working as long as possible. I have some pretty high records for students I know personally in terms of how many Chromebooks they've gone through in 1 year. I hope we can maybe include our teachers in some of that, because as boots on the ground, I think I've heard some really good ideas on how to really preserve that and extend their service life. I may be a little tangential here, but I also was a little disappointed to see at the teacher trainings today that there are several new teachers still using Chromebooks in lieu of laptops. And I wonder if perhaps some of these funds might be diverted or include securing laptops for teachers who really need them for a lot of the strategic plan elements. They all include digital elements. So just for your consideration, thank you.
Any other member of the public who would like to make comments? Okay, I'm going to close the public comment period for the public hearing on this item. Any board discussion? No? Okay, we are going to move on. We've continued item 6D to next week. And we are moving on to 7A, notice of public hearing for the Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP, 2023 to 2024.
And we have David Chambliss joining us.
Yes, good evening. Just proposing to the board that they open the hearing to provide an opportunity for the public to comment on our proposed 2023-24 Local Control Accountability Plan.
Okay, thank you, David. Same process. We're officially opening up the notice of public hearing for the LCAP. Clarifying questions from the board?
Yeah, I had a question actually that I wanted to ask about I just wanted to ask about some potential strategies that are available for reducing chronic absenteeism. I was looking at some of that data and, just obviously if we have students who are not able to make it to school frequently, that does affect, their learning process and how much they're able to participate. So I'm just wondering, what are the strategies that we're using now? If any of staff or Superintendent Ochoa can speak about that. What are we already doing? And, do we have any potential ideas for, continuing to address that and continuing to work on that issue?
Thank you for the question. Since we're focused on the LCAP, I would draw your attention to Goal 3 of the LCAP. There actually is a new action added for this year. It's on page 75 if you're in the actual PDF, and it lays out the actions that we're proposing to engage in through the LCAP. And then next week, we will be bringing to the board the school plans for student achievement, the SIPSAs. And you'll also see in those by school plans, the strategies that the schools themselves are going to be implementing to address chronic absenteeism.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other board clarifying questions? Okay, going to open up to the public comment live audience. Public comment. Good side? No. Okay, Joe, would you mind asking the Zoom audience please?
Certainly. Good evening. I'll be calling on speakers during public comment for this hearing in random order. To our attendees, if you would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature on the Zoom meeting platform now. Attendees that have called in can dial *9 to raise their hand. Speakers will have 3 minutes to give their remarks, and once time has expired, we will move to the next speaker. Vice President Chin, there are no public comments at this time.
Great, thank you. I'm going to close public comment on this item. Board discussion, anything? Comments? Okay, we're going to move on to, this is fast, board member statements. Item 8, board member statements and requests for future agenda items. Does anybody want to make a comment?
I'll just comment that since our last meeting, I attended the graduations for Burrell and Bowditch, and just wanted to, I did try to go to Abbott, but I went to the wrong location, so my apologies, but, and I couldn't make it to Bayside because it was right before Bowditch, but congratulations once again to all of our 8th graders that are moving on to high school. And I just wanted to also mention that I attended several meetings with the Abbott community about future leadership at that school and what the future holds. And so just wanted to appreciate everybody that has engaged with me on that topic, and looking forward to hearing more good news.
Thank you, Trustee Proctor. Anyone else?
I was able to attend the Bayside graduation, which was very nice, by the way. They really did a good job with the kids and how they orchestrated the graduation ceremony. I'm very, very pleased with what I saw, and I just want to congratulate all of the graduates in our district, and very excited for the ones who are advancing to high school. And that's it.
Thank you. Any other board member comments or statements?
Yeah, I went to the Abbott award ceremony, which was really positive. It was really great to see all the students who have worked so hard in all different areas, math and social justice, and there's just so many shining stars in that class. And I was really really amazed by how many students had achieved a 4.0. It was like I could barely get them all on camera. It was like a whole panorama. So just really congratulations to all the Abbott graduates. And I also stopped at the North Shoreview Montessori 8th grade promotion, which was lovely as well. And each student was, made a little speech introducing someone else in the class. And so it was really, a really interesting way to kind of get to know everybody. And I also stopped briefly at Fiesta Gardens promotion. So just really wonderful to see that celebration for all of our rising students.
Great, thank you. I'll say that unfortunately I was only able to attend Burrell's because I also had a 5th grade promoting. And so prior to anyone or any of our kids or our own kids promoting or graduation, I know we used to run around every single graduation possible, leaving after the first few minutes and then running to the next one because they're all happening at the same time. But I'm glad that everyone was able to sort of separate and spread out and enjoy some of the festivities as we close this year. I know our staff is still, at least half of our staff is doing professional development. So I think I'll save my comments for them for next week's meeting. I just want to thank the public for our rescheduled meeting for tonight. As Superintendent Choa mentioned, we did have somewhat of a medical emergency right before the meeting last week, and we had to continue the meeting till tonight. So just want to thank the public for the patience on this because life happens. So thank you. With that, future meeting dates are listed on the agenda, and The next item is the adjournment. Does anyone want to?
Motion to adjourn.
A second.
Thank you, trustee Proctor for the motion, trustee Brooks for the second. Roll call vote, trustee Brooks,
Yes.
trustee Proctor,
Yes.
trustee Trent.
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Our meeting is adjourned at 6:06. Thank you. See you guys next week.